Well, all right. Video on, headphones in. Check your watch. Buckle your seatbelts. Here we go. 595, 77, 79. And hello, real estate fans all over America. In fact, even all over the world. Welcome to another live edition of The Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program about real estate and America's longest running daily radio show all about the topic of real estate. And here we go, chugging through the week. It's already Thursday. Can you believe that here? We're live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday here at 5 p.m. We're live here at 5 p.m., 5 different ways for you to consume the real estate show. You can listen to us live on our website at automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com. You can hear live, crystal clear, streaming anywhere around the world, anywhere where there's real estate, where there's internet. You can listen to us on the AM station, 1470, part of the WWNN Money Talk Radio. Also part of the WWNN Money Talk Network on the FM dial at FM 96.9, also on FM 95.3, and some others as well. And you can also download a free app and hear us on an app. Again, crystal clear, mobile. Take us with you on the go. It doesn't even matter now whether you're in the local radio waves, because if you've got cellular service and you've got one of the radio apps on your portable device, then you're just as good as tuned in here on the Real Estate Show. And you can also listen to us on Facebook, facebook.com live every day at 5. Just go to facebook.com/The Real Estate Show. Just a couple of different ways that you can hear us. And one of the days of the week here on Thursday, we call it our About the Money edition. Every Thursday, we're talking about the money as it pertains to real estate, whether it's financing techniques, refinancing techniques, private money, investing, the numbers, retirement. If it has to do with money, if it has to do with real estate, well, it's probably been covered here on one of our Thursday editions. And this week on our Monday show, we started talking about our mission for this Monday, which was to talk about some of the wealth building principles that the wealthy use in order to transform good debt into more wealth. Now, just imagine that if you could take debt, and we started talking this week about the difference between good debt and the difference between bad debt, how to recognize it right away, positive leverage versus negative leverage. That alone will give you a good idea of what good debt and bad debt is. But it also means what kind of facility, whether it's a mortgage, a line of credit, a home equity loan, an installment loan, a signature loan, a credit card. There's so many different ways to get credit, creating some debt, which when used properly, when used wisely, can transform that debt into more income, more wealth. And we talked about that on our Tuesdays, tools, tips, and techniques. And even yesterday on our midweek report, where we went out into the marketplace talking about some of the updated news. So let's talk about the money. And this is really where the rubber hits the road when it comes to real estate, finance. And, everybody has different goals out there. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish in life. Even the landlords that I know, they don't get into real estate because they love, having a bunch of roofs to take care of and toilets and tenants and so forth. They have goals, but real estate is probably the safest, most secure way to get you to your goals in the shortest amount of time if you do it right. And so whether it's to own your own home, whether it's to pay off your own loan, whether it's to save money and start a life, get married, maybe it's vacations, maybe it's college for your kids or your grandkids, maybe it's even a second home to be able to spend quality time somewhere else, nice cars, and all of those are great objects that people have in order to get started. But the one thing all of those goals have is that usually they're big ticket items and they usually create and cause debt. Now, remember, we talked about a vacation. You take a vacation once, and then you pay for it over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Not a wise decision when it comes to money. And then what ends up happening, because of the lure of the vacation, the easy gratification that marketing entices us to do, our dreams and goals get replaced by consumer debt, and then ultimately the cost of living. I can't tell you how many times in my life, and I roll my eyes each time I hear it, is when people don't ask the price, they ask what are the payments. And if they can squeeze that into their budget on a monthly basis, they think not about the total price tag, but of what the payments are. And so in today's show, if you've ever wondered, what's the real price tag of making that decision, of buying that house, buying that investment property, buying a boat, an RV, any of those things, what's the financial cost, the real cost, net of interest and so forth, or, including the interest, I should say. Is there a way? Is there a program out there? Is there a way that I can plug all of my financial variables in, and then it tell me to make the right decisions, the best decisions, based on all the formulas and products that financing and the MBAs that are behind these products? They're all geared in order to make a profit. However, they're also all financial formulas. And so if you were only to take the time to learn the formulas, how they work, you could literally re-engineer and have an advantage. And that's what I wanted to get into today. We budget for the price tag, and that's exactly what marketing out there in America wants us to do. We budget for the price tag of what we buy, but we fail to understand what the true cost is of each thing. And as a result, now, as you all know, this is an economy that can get more fragile when there are bumps in the road, not necessarily because of a slowdown in sales or an increase in sales or GDP. It's because we live in a leveraged and debt-fueled society. Now, the wealthy understand that, and just like fire is both a tool for good, but it's also a dangerous weapon for bad. It can burn you if you don't know what you're doing. It can heat you, power you, light you, and do lots of great things. And I'm going to tell you that leverage is exactly the same way. And just to give you an idea how much of a debt-fueled economy that we're in, if you were to look, and these are statistics that came from NerdWallet, and I was just looking at these, and they're not the most up-to-date numbers. So I will tell you that these numbers are actually larger than what I'm going to tell you. But the average credit card debt in America, that's the average, is about $16,500. That's right. People walk around, and usually we're talking about double-digit interest rates. They're walking around with at least $16,000 on average just in credit card debts. That's unsecured, and chances are you're paying $16,000 times, say, what an average is it now 18%, 30% that some people are paying? And just imagine what that is, just right off the top. That's interest that goes out, goes away, spent, gone, never going to earn you another dollar. And in many cases, what's on the credit card is something that you consumed, not invested in. Now let's talk about something that you did invest in. The average mortgage debt across America, $180,000. And that's about a year and a half old, that statistic. With the rise in prices, I'm going to tell you that average for sure has gone up over the last several years. Student loans. This will surprise you. Do you know that people have almost 1/3 the same amount of student loans as they do of a mortgage? And again, student loans is definitely a consumable. Once you're out of college, you're done. Now, hopefully it gave you the tools and equipped you to go out there and make more money. But when you think about strapping $50,000 on average, actually it's closer to $51,000, the average student loan balance out there in America. And the average car balance, another $31,000. And $31,000 isn't exactly buying you, the Mercedes of your dreams either. So when you add in the 180 plus the 51, now we're talking about 231. Add one car, and usually families have two cars, so add another 60,000. So now we're at 300,000, and throw in another 16,000 for the credit cards, and you can just imagine what the debt load of what most people are carrying. In fact, I will tell you this statistically. The Wall Street Journal came out and showed that 34.5 cents of every dollar that you spend goes to pay interest. That's how much leverage is, infiltrated in everybody's everyday decision. And it only gets worse. Now, when I come back from the break, I want to make one last comment about the mortgage, and then I'm going to show you a solution. I'm going to show you what do the wealthy do to transform debt into wealth, and you're going to want to learn exactly what I'm talking about. Today is definitely going to be a writer down, or some of these statistics, if you were to post it up there as a constant reminder as to why, if you don't change, things won't change. And I'm going to show you how to make a definite, profitable, six-figure change in saving interest if you have a mortgage, or in fact, I'll tell you that if you have more than $50,000 worth of debt, and that means you either have a mortgage, you either have student loan, credit cards, or a car loan. Getting to owing $50,000 is not a hard thing to do. Many, if not most people, have that, and I'm going to show you how to save, how to double that in savings. So don't touch that dial. You're listening to The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Willner, and I will be right back. I don't want anybody to jump off a bridge or anything. Felipe, how are you? I got your paperwork. And so what I want to do is schedule either Friday or Saturday for us to circle back around. I'm going to show you what your numbers were. Very good. Roberto, how are you? Welcome to the Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us here on the Facebook. William's watching. It's funny, on my side it's saying, do I want to bring them on camera? Do you guys want to be on camera? So this week just flew by, just so incredibly quick. It's just amazing. Erica's in the house. Who else we got there? Hey, Brian. So what I'm talking about today is pretty amazing, and I'm gonna give out a text code in a second to learn more about this. But when I found out about this, and this is something that I use in my own situation, that I will tell you that today's piece of information is a six-figure tip for just about everybody. If you have $100,000 mortgage, it's going to save you a ton of money. We're coming back now. 79. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us here on The Real Estate Show, my name is Eric Willner here. We're on our ATM edition of The Real Estate Show. That's about the money. Now, I don't call it the ATM because I want you to use your house as an ATM, but I will tell you that it is an incredible tool in order to start building wealth, whether it's your first home, your personal home, or whether it's an investment property. And we're going to talk more about that. Then maybe we'll wrap that up with our Friday show. But I spent the first part of the program trying to explain how much debt most people carry that they think is absolutely perfectly normal and natural, and yet they don't think about it. So in fact, just to give you an example, look at the mortgage. And the mortgage out there is traditionally one of your lowest interest rates way of borrowing. Why? Because you've got great collateral to secure it. Collateral that allows you leverage like no other asset, not gold, no other physical assets out there offer you the same ability to use that leverage, which is why there are more millionaires created in real estate than in any other investment vehicle out there, period, bar none. So Take, for example, a typical 30-year mortgage. And I'm going to make the numbers fairly easy. But in today's low interest rate environment, a 30-year mortgage on a $200,000 house at about 4% is going to be just under $1,000. So let's just call it $1,000 a month for a $200,000 loan, which, of course, if you're putting 10% down, allows you to buy a $220,000 house or so. And in the first year, you're going to spend $1,000 a month. Now, we're not talking about taxes and insurance and escrows, for example, because that has nothing to do with debt or paying down the house. That's just an ongoing expense. In year one, you're going to pay $12,000 worth of taxes. Now, remember, I said I got a low, probably around a 4% interest rate in this situation. Now, there are better rates. In fact, yesterday, or no, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday that we were talking about. Right now, mortgage rates came down again. And I haven't given out our text line today. So, or you guys put me up on the cross. Our text line, you can text the word loan if you want to learn about 3% and under 3% rates out there that exists for mortgages. 561-861-2366. Text loan to that number. If you want to learn about the secret that I'm talking about today, then you want to text the word equity, because we're talking about turning debt into equity, turning debt into wealth. Then you type the word equity to 561-861-2366, and you'll get an automated response there. But back to our 30-year example, $200,000 loan, $1,000 a month, year one. Now, remember, I said you pay, the newspapers told me that I'm paying 4% on my amortized loan, right? Well, how much did I pay year one? 1,000 times 12, that's $12,000. But of that $12,000, because of the algorithms, the formulas by which mortgages work, it's not just straight interest, it's an amortizing loan. So of the $12,000, $9,000 went to interest, right? 73% of the loan, not the 4% that was advertised, but 73% of my payments are going to interest out the window. And $3,000, only $3,000, approximately 1/4 of my payment in year one goes to pay down the principal. So in year two, does it get better, right? It's amortizing, so the interest rate goes down. Well, in year two, I now, instead of paying $8,934, I pay $8,700. And so now it's 72% of my payment goes down, and it slowly amortizes down. But here's the thing, and most people think, oh, a 30-year mortgage, by year 15, I've paid down half the mortgage, right? Wrong. The 30-year mortgage doesn't reach the halfway mark until approximately the 20 or 21st year, depending on the interest rates. So by year 15, you're not even close to paying off half. But in year 20, so now $1,000 a month, 20 years, that's 240 months. I've paid over $243,000 on my $220,000 house. You getting the picture here? And I have only paid it down to half at that point, and I still have the other half of the loan to pay. So this is where people think in terms of what can I afford as opposed to what does it really cost? Because what does a $1,000 a month for 30 years, $360,000 on a $200,000 house. So in this case, I'm buying one house for me, one for the bank. And the bank likes it there. One for me, one for you. One for me, one for you. Yeah, you wonder where that saying came from. Well, it was probably a banker who figured out how to amortize a loan and front end load all of the interest. And then, you know, I often hear, well, Eric, who keeps a mortgage for 30 years? Well, more and more people are, and more people will now that we're giving out mortgages at 3%, for example. And but if you think about it, if people move on average every 7 years or refinance within that 7 years, all they're doing is starting the clock all over again. And so great for the banks. And why do you think the banks are so aggressive, so anxious, so frequently on the phone offering you, hey, Would you, Mr. Borrower, Mrs. Borrower, would you like to refinance? We'll give you 0.25% lower rate on ours. Or, why don't you take some cash out? Let's even do it even better. Let's rewind the clock and increase the loan amount for you by the closing cost, by the cash out that you take, and so forth. So it becomes a vicious, never-ending spiral, which is why so few people actually ever get to pay off their mortgage. They're lucky if they downsize. And remember, I told you, according to the Wall Street Journal, the average household throughout their life spends 34.5 cents of every dollar that they have to pay interest on their debt. So here's the crux of this whole program today. What if you could stop overpaying interest? Like I said, there's good interest and there's bad interest. Bad interest is the interest that you shouldn't pay, that I'm going to show you. I can show you in black and white with a free report how I can save you money on your mortgage. In fact, I can either refinance it for a lower rate, or I can change the effective rate of your mortgage. In fact, lump all of your debt together, because it's even better. The power on the mortgage is one of your better debts. Imagine if I could take your credit card debt, if I could take your installment loans, your car loans, your student loans, and show you how to literally cut the interest in half, or maybe even less. Then in that case, what you want to do, if you want to build equity faster from the debt that you already have, then text the word equity to 561-861-2366. Once again, that's to get rid of your bad debt, to build more equity faster, and make sure that you have the lowest possible effective rate. Text the word equity to 561-861-2366. I'm going to send you a free report on how that works. In fact, I'll even follow it up with a cool little video, a series of 1, 2, 3 videos that will explain line item by line item exactly what happens and how to do it. And all of that will be done automated through our Real Estate Show automated text line. So I asked the question, right? What if you could stop overpaying your debt? And this is why most people fail to reach their financial goals, because they never ask that question. What if I could eliminate the bad debt? What if I could eliminate the interest that I shouldn't be paying? And like I said, the problem most of us have in life is that we're generally too comfortable, right? We figure out what payments we can afford, even if it means scraping and scrimping till the end of the month. We're generally too comfortable, or at least comfortable enough and busy enough that changing something in our lives is easy to avoid. And that's what it is. It's easy to avoid. If I can make the payments, I don't have to open that envelope and look at the massive amounts of interest that you're paying, that they're collecting, the exorbitant interest rates. I mean, have you looked at your credit cards lately? They're in the state of Florida, where the usury rate is 18%. Credit cards figured out a way of being exempt from that. And that's why people have 25, 35% interest rates on their credit cards. So when it comes to making wise financial decisions, we generally take the easiest path, not the best path. And what I want to show you is how to find out what the best path is. And what that is, and that is the automatic landlord debt solution. You've heard me talk about it. I've been talking about that for years. And depending on how badly you want to get out of debt, on a scale of 1 to 5, number 1, Eric, I absolutely want to get out of debt. Well, then text the word equity to 561-861-2366. Maybe you're on a scale of 1 to 5, you're 5. No, I love financial stress. Who needs the extra money? I've got no time for that. Pass me another beer. And I hope that's not you out there listening to us. But again, text the word equity to 561-861-2366, and I will send you that free report on how you can minimize the interest that you pay, maximize the equity that you build up, and truly employ the techniques that the wealthy use to use debt to generate income, especially through the use of real estate. Anyway, the music is coming in. I'm on my way out. That's our Thursday About the Money edition of the Real Estate Show. We'll be back again, same place, same time tomorrow to wrap up this week, summarize it. And like I said, I'll talk a little bit more about some of these techniques in our radio show, and then talk to you about our upcoming workshop, where we're going to spend a full hour on this very topic. Anyway, that's it for today. This is Eric Willner signing off for The Real Estate Show. Remember to drive safe out there, wash those hands still, and make it a great day. Bye-bye. Marcelo, the rising star on our Brazilian team. What's up, brother? Let's see here. Let's go ahead and turn power down all these bad boys. It was funny. I had a friend come by the other day and taking a look at some of the work that we're doing on the house. I'm going to sign off here for YouTube. Have a great day. And I showed him